Julie Chrisley. Husband Todd made sure Chloe knew she was a child of color. Hello, everyone. Welcome back for another video. I hope everyone's having a great day. Before watching the video, please subscribe and like it. Julie Chrisley opened up about the responsibility she felt after adopting her daughter Chloe. On the latest episode of her podcast, the mom of four and her husband Todd talked about their life after prison, touching on some of the injustice they witnessed while behind bars. Julie recalled the conversation she had with Todd, noting that they had to be better for the 12-year-old. Julie Chrisley is opening up about the responsibility she felt after adopting her daughter. During the latest episode of Todd and Julie Chrisley's Chrisley Confessions 2.0 podcast, the reality TV personalities talked about their time apart while they were serving prison sentences for their bank fraud and tax evasion convictions. During the conversation, Julie, 52, and Todd, 56, opened up about some of the injustices they witnessed while in prison. The conversation prompted the mom of four to recall a conversation the pair had following the adoption of their daughter Chloe, 12, where they agreed they had to be better and expand their circle so their daughter knew her heritage. Chloe, who is the biological daughter of Todd's son Kyle and his ex Angela Johnson, was legally adopted in 2016, making Todd and Julie her legal parents and the youngest Chrisley sibling. The adoption came amid Kyle's ongoing personal struggles. When we got Chloe, we had to be better, Julie said. We had to make sure that our circle expanded. We had to make sure that Chloe knew she was a child of color. We had to make sure she knew what she came from. In June 2022, Todd and Julie were convicted of bank fraud and tax evasion. A federal judge sentenced Todd to 12 years in prison and 16 months probation, while Julie received 7 years in prison and 16 months probation. The couple reported to prison on January 17, 2023, and roughly 28 months later, President Trump granted them a full pardon. For the past 2.5 years, I've done everything in my power to fight for my parents' freedom and bring them home, their daughter Savannah Chrisley said in a statement. This moment is the answer to countless prayers, and I am beyond grateful to President Trump for seeing the truth and restoring my family. Related stories. Julie Chrisley says being away from her children in prison was debilitating. I pride myself in being a good mother. After President Trump announced on Tuesday, May 27, that he was fully pardoning her parents, Savannah shared her younger sister Chloe's reaction to finding out their parents were coming back. Chloe, I think, is still in shock, Savannah shared while appearing on News Nation's On Balance with Leland Vittert. She doesn't want to get her hopes up because she feels like something bad is going to happen. But I'm excited to be going to get my dad and bringing him home to her. We're excited. On the Tuesday, July 8, podcast episode of Unlocked, the Chrisley Knows Best matriarch, who is a mother to sons Grayson, 19, and Chase, 29, and daughters Chloe and Savannah, 27, candidly shared how hard it was being away from her children during her time in prison. She said she prides herself on being a good mother and always being there for my children, so her time away was debilitating. For me, that was one of the most difficult things about being in prison because I pride myself on being a good mother, she said. I pride myself in always being there for my children, and to have a time where I couldn't be there was, at some point, debilitating. Because I know that Grayson and Chloe, especially, but also, you and Chase, even though you're adults, you still need your parents, she added. And I think that's what people need to realize. That when you're being sentenced by these judges, it was very easy to say, oh, there's lots of people that can help them raise their kids. Chrisley Knows Best stars Julie Chrisley and husband Todd Chrisley have publicly reflected on the care they took in raising their adopted daughter Chloe to ensure she fully embraced her identity as a child of color following her 2016 adoption. Chloe, the biological daughter of Todd's son Kyle and his then-partner Angela Johnson, entered the family at age 2 during a period of his struggle with substance misuse and instability. The couple described recognizing early on that traditional family norms would not suffice for Chloe, and that she would need intentional guidance regarding her racial heritage, they reportedly made efforts to broaden social circles, exposing her to diverse role models and environments. Affirming her Black identity, they prioritized teaching her about the richness of her origins and connected her with extended communities supportive of her racial experience. These steps were taken as part of a conscious parenting approach in response to Chloe's unique position as a biracial child in a white, high-visibility family. Their awareness of Chloe's mixed identity was heightened by public reactions and occasional racist backlash on social media, prompting Todd and Julie to openly affirm her beauty and worth as she grew. They reportedly spoke about their desire to shield her from societal confusion about color and family structure. Meanwhile, social media critics sometimes misidentified Chloe's role in the family, calling her niece or granddaughter, which Savannah Chrisley, Chloe's legal guardian since Todd and Julie's imprisonment in 2023, found infuriating and emotionally harmful. She emphasized that Chloe identifies as their daughter and sister, not niece, and that soft public misunderstanding about race and family labels continued to cause her pain. The Chrisleys long ago acknowledged that raising Chloe would come with additional challenges, requiring them to break traditional molds and stand stronger in the face of prejudice. Their deliberate expansion of supportive community and affirmations of her heritage reportedly helped Chloe navigate identity formation despite public scrutiny. Todd and Julie's incarceration for bank fraud and tax evasion convictions further complicated the family narrative. After their pardon in May 2025 and release, the topic resurfaced during their podcast conversations when they revisited Chloe's upbringing. They framed those early parenting decisions as critical to building her resilience and self-worth. They positioned their approach as a model of proactive love in a racially complex society. The resurfaced commentary on identity came amid reflections about injustices they'd witnessed while serving prison sentences and the long-term emotional cost for their children. Although Chloe has now reached adolescence, the foundation they built through intentional parenting continues to shape her experience in school and within broader society. Savannah's guardianship has tried to carry forward those lessons while shielding younger siblings from public misconceptions. Julie's commentary revealed that they viewed raising Chloe not simply as adding a child to the family, but as committing to equip her with cultural affirmation and emotional strength. They reportedly made sure Chloe understood she descended from both African American and white lineage, and that her dual heritage was a gift. They charted parenting choices, such as enrolling her in diverse environments and encouraging friendships with peers who mirror her racial background at every turn. Todd and Julie reportedly emphasized that Chloe's identity was not optional or accidental, but central to who she is and how she deserves to be seen. The family's broader legal and personal saga, convictions, prison, pardon, paled in comparison to their focus on Chloe's emotional security. Their decision to adopt was always framed as rescue and not convenience, meant to give Chloe stability amid her biological father's turmoil. After Todd and Julie entered prison, Savannah took legal responsibility for Chloe and brother Grayson, and has since spoken emotionally about keeping Chloe's identity intact in the public narrative despite repeated corrections. Fans calling Chloe anything other than their daughter undermined her sense of belonging to Savannah. Public mislabeling based on assumptions about race and family fueled misunderstanding and pain in her sister. A child psychologist reportedly supported letting Chloe call Todd and Julie mom and dad because it aligned with her emotional reality and supported her comfort in identity. Todd initially struggled with that title, feeling guilt over replacing a biological parent, but ultimately accepted the role after professional guidance. The upbringing of Chloe became a test of awareness for the family, requiring them to confront their own limited understanding of race and privilege. Each decision, from social circle expansion to embracing bilingual cultural cues, was part of building a supportive environment where Chloe could grow. Knowing Chloe was biracial changed their parenting plan. Fundamentally, they tracked racial issues Chloe might face in schools and proactively addressed them through every milestone: birthdays, school plays, public appearances, They reaffirmed her dual heritage publicly and privately. Their active positioning of Chloe as a child of color gave her tools to process identity amid external bias after the release. During a recent podcast episode, they cast those earlier parenting choices as foundational to Chloe's confidence today. They framed expanding her circle and affirming her roots not as reactionary, but as lifelong commitments that shaped her worldview. Family observers note that few public figures adopt biracial grandchildren with such explicit cultural intentionality in a Southern, predominantly white reality TV family. Their candid commentary about Chloe's identity provided rare insight into navigating race in elite family media. They show that acknowledging mixed roots requires ongoing conversation rather than silence or avoidance. The family's broader scandal and legal drama overshadowed much of their earlier message about Chloe's upbringing, but the resurfaced reflections have refocused attention on the early parenting mindset that recognized race as part of her identity rather than something to obscure. As they rebuild life postpartum, Julie and Todd continue to position Chloe's identity awareness as central to their parental legacy. Public and critics alike are now reassessing the family's commitment to racial affirmation amid controversy, looking at Chloe's confidence and public composure today. As a result of those foundational decisions, the story of how Todd and Julie approached race from the moment they welcomed Chloe into their lives offers a potent chapter in the Chrisley narrative, blending personal duty, racial awareness, and the complexities of public family dynamics. It stands as both corrective and instructive in how celebrity families can meet the challenges of mixed-race parenting within a spotlighted setting. Their reflections today offer example to other adoptive families that cultural identity is not inherent but cultivated and demanded by love and intention. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, America Trends 24, and stay with us.